What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 403. I hope you guys have been amazing this past week. Today, as of recording this episode, it is my birthday. So shout out to everybody that wished me happy birthday. Just turned 31. You know, I really can't complain, man, in terms of life. I really can't complain. I got my health. The people I love have their health. And yeah, man, just overall, things are moving forward, which is great. These past couple of days, I randomly went to New York. It was last minute, not really planned. And I kind of like those trips and kind of don't, because it just costs a lot more money when it's last minute when you're doing stuff. Because when you're going anywhere, you got to book a hotel, you got to get the flight, all that. And it usually costs more when it's closer to the date that you actually want to do it, right? But a conversation came up. And boom, DJ Who Kid, legend, was like, hey, let's do this interview. But there was a catch, because he was touring, he was doing a bunch of stuff, as he should, because he's getting booked left and right. He was like, hey, let's do this interview. Can we do it this time on Tuesday? Mind you, this was, when did we make this decision, or when did we talk about this? I think it was Sunday or Monday, like literally a day or two before, basically. I'm like, shit, man. Financially, it's gonna cook me, but I just said, hey, man, let's do it. He had this small window of time, and he wanted to do the interview, and we did it. So that's coming out, and this is, see what I'm saying? Like, these type of trips can't happen if the podcast is 2 episodes a week, because then I'll have to miss. Like, I came home yesterday, which would have been Wednesday night, the night of recording the podcast. I came home at like 7 or 8 in the afternoon after not sleeping. So let's go over what the trip was. So I woke up Tuesday morning, arrived in New York at 1:30. It was me and Tafili, shout out to him. We were going to potentially just be in New York, do that Who Kid interview, and then leave that night. So try to get in and out within 10 hours max, right? Because you get there at 1:30, the interview was around 5:36, finish it at 8, 9, maybe 10, and try to book a flight that night and go back. That way we save a little bit of money too, because you don't have to get a hotel. But there were discussions of other things and some things happening. So I was like, all right, let's get a hotel, which costs like $200 basically, 190, something like that, and some change. But $200 just to get a hotel. The flights were like $600, $700. I don't know, it was a crazy amount of money. I don't even want to look at the fucking transactions. Food, lifts, because you have to go riding places or whatever, Ubers, whatever you want to call it. So just astronomical amount of money being spent. But it was one of the greatest experiences, period. I got to meet somebody that I listened to growing up my whole life. And super funny guy, man. Probably one of the funniest people I've ever talked to. And he's just brutally honest in a great way, But yeah, we got there. And then around 4:30, I met with Jeremy. Shout out to him. He's part of the G Unit staff and, G Unit Records. Yeah, met with him, talked with him. And then by 5:30, I want to say, we went up to Shade 45, literally Eminem's radio station, which was really cool to see and just be in that, area where so many legendary artists have come through and so many people, and just, chatted. And what's the cool thing is when we got to the area, to the actual level on the floor where Shade 45 was at, the security at the desk was aware of what I do. Now, I don't really get recognized face-wise because my voice is more and stuff, especially with my documentaries. I don't put my face on them. So a lot of people know me from my documentaries, but my face isn't on them. But this time, I got recognized because when you're signing in, you have to put your name and all that, and they have to put your company name or who you're affiliated with, basically. And I put Diverse Mentality. And then he saw, and he was like, yo, I love the Nipsey Hussle documentary. I love, all the videos that you do. So it was really cool to get that interaction with somebody at Shade 45 at the security. Really awesome. And then, yeah, Who Kid did an interview we had to do that day. And then, we went into the room, did the interview at Shade 45, and it turned out amazing, man. He told a lot of crazy stories. I didn't get to ask everything I wanted to ask, but it's all right because I have a good feeling we're going to do another interview down the line. Yeah, man, it was just great, man. Great experience. And after that interview, I think we ended up after, chat a little bit more with Jeremy, who had to go because he was traveling to, I believe, Dubai the next morning. So he's always traveling. So he had to go, and then spoke a little bit with Jeremy. And then me and Tafili went to go get some food. I went back to the hotel, go get some food. We went out, tried to find restaurants. A lot of them were closed because this is a Tuesday night. So we found one. And my God, their food was amazing. I got to give them a shout out. Like, that's how great the fucking food was. That if you're in New York, I don't know exactly what area we were at, to be honest with you. Let's see what this place is called. I got to shout them out. So if you're in New York, please go to this place. It was the only thing that was open that night, too. That's the crazy thing. It's like they were open. Turtle Bay Tavern. My God. Shout out to them, man. Turtle Bay Tavern. Great service. The chicken wings, I don't know. I don't know if it was because I was hungry, because I hadn't eaten food, since like 1 that day, or no, about 2:33, because when we landed, we ate at the airport. So like 2:33 is when we ate, but it was like 10, 11 at night by the time we ate again. So I don't know if it was because I was hungry, but I highly doubt it. But they brought out the wings. And mind you, this is like 11:30 at night. Fresh, hot, steaming wings. So delicious, man. And then they had an option for a burger. And I don't ever eat meat. Like, rarely ever eat meat. I just eat chicken. I don't eat any type of other meat. And I did that time. I was just like, you know what? These wings were so good. I was like, I just got to try out their burger. Burger was amazing. Fried. Everything was freshly, just delicious. Very, very delicious. Service was insanely good. So yeah, if you go out there, go and check them out. But yeah, that then ended up going to the hotel, trying to sleep. I got no sleep. Tafili had to leave early, and then I tried to get up and try to get some type of sleep. But we were like, our hotel wasn't a bad hotel, but it was just next to traffic. And I'm a very light sleeper. I can hear everything. So to me, I was just struggling to sleep the whole night. So I got basically no sleep. Like, even my Whoop, my wrist didn't detect me sleeping at all. So that tells you there. I got no sleep. I probably faded in sleep 5 minutes, woke up again. It was just horrible. So basically got no sleep, left, went to the airport, flight delayed as usual, got to Atlanta 5 when traffic's the worst. By the time I got home, it was like 3 hours later, ate food, and just immediately passed out when I fell asleep. Immediately, like I did within seconds, which is the fastest I think I've ever passed out. I don't know why. I was just tired, really, really tired. But that concludes that. The Who Kid interview is coming out Saturday. For Patreon and YouTube members, first 24 hours ahead of time. And then Sunday we'll start to drop part 1, part 2, part 3, all that, part 4, part 5, whatever. And then eventually we'll drop the full interview. So the same as the other formats. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And yeah, of course, if I can do these interviews more often, I would. It's just trying to book people. There's some people are really busy. Sometimes it costs a lot of money. So I need to have revenue coming in order to, spend this money to do these interviews. It's not easy, So yeah, but shout out to Who Kid, man. Great person, great vibes. Just overall, man. Really, really cool person. So I can't wait for you guys to check out this interview. He tells some stories that I've never heard in my life, because I watched a lot of Who Kid interviews. Even before I did this interview, I watched a lot of them as well. And some of the stories he's told on other platforms a little bit, but some he's I've never heard, at least for me personally. And some of them are very, very interesting, man. This guy was surrounded by hip hop at an early age, and he just has a lot of cool stories, man. One about Tupac, one about Michael Jackson, one about Eminem, one about 50, just a bunch of people. He's got stories of some of the coolest people and just coolest things. So I hope you guys enjoy the interview. I haven't fully edited it yet, but it's about an hour and 40 minutes. So almost 2 hours, around there. And we asked some interesting questions, man. I wanted to go more in a timeline of events throughout his life story, but it kind of jumped around places, which sometimes it happens. It's all right. I can't, it's really about how the interview vibes. I'm not just going to force somebody to be like, yeah, let's go over your whole career and let's do it like this, because then it's automated and just, I don't know, it feels not organic. Right. So yeah, we went over a bunch of things and we jumped around, it wasn't really timeline driven. It was just a lot of dope moments, that he's had. So yeah, can't wait for you guys to check that out. Let's get into the news. And it starts out with Diddy taking $100 million loss. So let's go over this. The judge dismissed every claim filed against the film Diddy, The Making of the Bad Boy. Sean Combs' Diddy just took a major legal setback after a New York judge dismissed his $100 million defamation lawsuit tied to a controversial documentary. According to reports exclusively reported by All Hip Hop, Judge Fadrea F. Perry Bond threw out every claim filed against NBC Universal, Peacock, and Ample LLC over the film Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy. The documentary premiered on Peacock on January 2nd, 2025. The ruling marks a decisive win for the media companies and a significant loss for the Bad Boy mogul. Diddy initially agreed that the documentary caused substantial reputation and financial harm, pointing to several claims made within the film. Among his concerns were suggestions that he was connected to the deaths of figures like Kim Porter, Notorious B.I.G., Heavy D, and Andre Harrell, as well as alleged attempted murder involving Al B. Sure. He also challenged statements from an interviewee accusing him of engaging in sexual misconduct, including claims involving underage girls and secret recordings. However, the court ultimately found that the NBC Universal did not meet the threshold of gross irresponsibility. This was the legal standard required for a defamation claim to move forward in this case. In her ruling, Judge Perry Bond emphasized that the documentary presented multiple perspectives rather than pushing a single narrative. The judge also noted that the film included factual context and counterpoints, including official reports, clarifying that the causes of death for several individuals mentioned. For example, the documentary cited a coroner's report confirming Kim Porter died of lobar phenoma. Additionally, autopsy findings showed Heavy D passed from pulmonary embolism and Andre Harrell from heart failure. The judge further argued that Diddy's reputation had already been impacted prior to the documentary's release, moreover referencing existing lawsuits, viral footage, media coverage, and criminal indictment. Because of that, she found it unlikely the film alone caused additional measurable harm. The documentary demonstrates a carefully curated and nuanced approach, Perry Bond stated, adding that it allowed viewers to form their own conclusions based on a range of viewpoints. With the case now dismissed, this marks another high-profile moment in Diddy's ongoing legal battles as scrutiny around his past and public image continues to unfold. So there you go. And the judge made valid points, man. You know, if you make a documentary and you give every viewpoint, which you're supposed to do, you know, like my 50 versus Ja Rule documentary, my Nas versus Jay-Z, like I give both. You have to give both perspectives. Now, like me, I always get criticized, I forget by who, but about the Eminem and MGK thing. Like this person always mentions a clip from Shade 45 of something. And I don't remember what it was, but because of that, the person accused me of like pushing a narrative for like towards or against Eminem. I don't know. I forget what it was. Basically, sometimes, you know, as a researcher, you might miss something, but overall, you're not pushing a narrative. Like you're a human being at the end of the day. You know, you can try to comb through as much footage as you want, but you could end up missing a small piece. I've never missed a major piece. I've always missed something small. Not always, but granted, some documentaries I never missed anything. But, you know, on the MGK and Eminem one, I missed that little small piece, which I didn't, you know, catch on. I didn't find it. I don't know. I guess I just never ran to the video. And that happens sometimes. That's not a big, major deal. But as long as you're telling both sides of the stories with clear intent, you know, like if it's clearly you're telling just specific sides of each story to fit a narrative, then you're not doing a documentary. You're doing a hit piece, essentially. And I've never done that. Like, it's clear as day. As much as I'm a 50 Cent fan, what did I say on the 50 versus Ja Rule? I made it very clear that a lot of what Ja Rule's career was destroyed by was not only 50, Eminem, and all the stuff that was going on with them, but it's the raid, the FBI raid, and the whole Supreme battle that they were going through. That forced a lot of labels, their label, Universal, to back out and say, no, we're not going to help you fund your music career anymore. You're going through a bunch of crazy stuff, and we want nothing to do with it. And that obviously hurts Ja Rule's career. So, you know, I've always kept it neutral. I even said, I think, I might recall wrong on this because I haven't seen my 50 versus Ja Rule documentary in a while, but I think I give like three perspectives. I give 50's perspective, I give Ja Rule's, and then I give what the internet has said or what people have speculated, which is like 50 was jealous of Ja Rule, that Supreme sided with him and, you know, decided to kind of destroy Ja Rule alongside Supreme, which you could say that's actually something against 50 because making 50 look jealous over somebody is not really a good thing. Who wants to be portrayed as someone that's jealous of somebody, you know? So I even gave that perspective, you know? So I feel like I've done a perfect job of putting both sides of the story on there. And then at the end, I literally say, hey, this is my opinion. Like at the end of these documentaries, I then give my opinion. You know, so I make a clear distinction that, you know, with my who really wants, what really happened, I give you guys just straight facts of what's going on. And then at the end, you can hear my opinion. If you don't want to hear my opinion, you just stop the video before we get to the end of where I'm talking my opinion. That's it. And there's your documentary. So, yeah, I feel like the judge made a great point. And obviously, he's had his career already destroyed in the public eye, regardless of this documentary. This documentary wasn't the nail in the coffin. It's not like Surviving R. Kelly. Like when that documentary came out, after that, R. Kelly faced insane destruction of his reputation, career, and that's where he ended up getting locked up because of that documentary. But this Diddy one, it didn't really do. I didn't hear anybody be like, "Oh my God!" Like look at it was just another documentary that people made. Great that it got dismissed. I agree. Updates on the Drake Kendrick Lamar UMG lawsuit. Let's go over it. Drake may be busy with his upcoming album Iceman, but that's not all on his plate in 2026. He continues to deal with appealing his dismissed defamation lawsuit against his label UMG over Not Like Us, the diss track from Kendrick Lamar that came out almost 2 years ago. In newly filed court documents reportedly obtained by Complex, the Toronto rapper and his legal team presented their last appeal brief before oral arguments. In the appeal brief, he and his lawyers argued some additional points in comparison to their previous beef, which some scholars push back on. The key pursuit of this appeal is to reverse the dismissal and hold the record company accountable for their alleged defamation and manipulation. For those unaware, the lawsuit's dismissal by a federal judge rests on the track's lyrics being non-actionable opinion. In a rap beef context, that reasonable listeners would understand to be exaggeratory. But Drizzy and his team believe that this is misleading and damaging interpretation. Most notably, they argue Not Like Us is so much more popular than the other disses, diminishing the worth of the rap beef's context. More specifically, they cited his own tailor-made freestyle diss, which the judge's dismissal also referenced as a precedent for Not Like Us, and defended its limited availability on the internet. They argue that tailor-made and Not Like Us may both be diss tracks, but to equate them like this is misrepresentation. So basically saying tailor-made wasn't all over streaming platforms and wasn't as big as Not Like Us, obviously. Elsewhere, the appeal brief fired back at UMG's arguments against Drake's Not Like Us lawsuit. His team believes the track's lyrics cross the line from exaggeration to defamation, were presented in a commercial package, including cover art that continues to reference the pedophilia allegations, and were aggressively pushed and promoted by his label to damage his reputation. Drake's attorneys believes the lawsuit's dismissal could set a dangerous precedent for all lyrics automatically getting protection in this context. No matter how serious they may be for the next part of this appeal, both sides will make their oral arguments to a panel of appellate judge asking questions. The court has yet to set a date for that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. We'll see. This is very kind of been dragging on this for a while, but that's how lawsuits go. They take fucking forever. I know because I'm in one right now. It just takes a long time to get shit figured out. But yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward. Speaking of lawsuits, Tory Lanez has filed a huge lawsuit for the prison he is currently locked up in. So let's go over this. Tory Lanez is still serving time in prison for shooting Megan Thee Stallion earlier this decade, but he sadly had to deal with far more than a sentence. He was stabbed in prison in May of last year, and he's now reportedly launched a massive lawsuit seeking $100 million in damages over this incident. According to court documents reportedly obtained by TMZ, the suit targets the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, the CDCR, the warden of the California Correctional Institution in Tecate, and 50 corrections officers who work there. CCI Tecate is where the stabbing occurred. In the court docs, the rapper and singer brought up his 16 stab wounds from a shank-carrying fellow inmate, as well as his permanent face scarring and 2 collapsed lungs. He named Santino Casino as his attacker and accused the prison of wrongfully housing them together, despite Casio's reportedly violent history. Lanez believes his celebrity status makes him a target, specifically accusing Warden Danny Samuel of violating CDCR protocols via the housing assignment. In addition, he alleged prison staff wasn't there during the prison stabbing and did not clarify why the response was so late. The Canadian artist accused the jail of deliberate indifference to foreseeable violence and blasted prison guards for not protecting him. But that's not all the lawsuit alleges. Tory Lanez has also accused officials of unrightfully seizing his original songbooks with unpublished lyrics. He reportedly claimed this happened during his recovery from the stabbing and alleged they seized notes with his lawyers as well. Tory pointed to the lyrics' substantive commercial value and wants them back. All in all, his lawsuit seeks $100 million in damages. This includes $1 million per stab wound and $10 million for the facial scarring. The CDCR reportedly hasn't responded to this lawsuit at press time. I don't know, $100 million is a lot of money, but I think he has some degree of validity in this lawsuit, to say the least. Right? If he's a public figure, he's a celebrity. 9 times out of 10, they house those people in solitary confinement because you don't want a celebrity, a public figure, walking out amongst normal prisoners, because somebody could hate that person just off of a song they heard or off of a rumor or story that they saw, and just accuse that person of being that person that they read online and decide to attack and kill them. So that's a valid point. Like, celebrities need to be more protected in prison, regardless of what they're, obviously if the charges is pedophilia, then I hope the prisoners kill them. But for other things, for the most part, they got to be protected. So he does have a certain ruling that makes sense, but $100 million is just a lot of money. It's going to cost you're going to have like a solid shut case to get that kind of money. But I don't think he's looking for $100 million. I think he's looking for a settlement. 10% of that is $10 million. So that's more than enough for him if he can even get 10% of that. So we'll see what happens moving forward, but it's just an interesting lawsuit nonetheless. Lil Wayne, I can see why people see him as a spoiled brat. At least that's what Kid said when he did an interview with me a while ago. Lil Wayne is complaining again. Instead of working hard, making sure his music is done, making sure his concerts are entertaining, he's complaining. So let's go over what's going on. Lil Wayne is and always will be a hip-hop legend. Still, the rappers felt his heydays passing stronger than he might have expected. Via Twitter, he complained in today's wee hours, Saturday, April 18th, about institutions and events like the Grammys and Coachella not inviting him in recent years. The 43-year-old thanked his fans for being the ones to hold him up. So he said this: "It's truly a humbling experience when events like Coachella and the Grammys come around, and like clockwork, I'm uninvited or uninvolved. I appreciate my position or space I hold in your heart and mind, if so, because you're the humbling experience that's timeless, and for that, I thank you. I ain't shit without you." So I don't understand, man. Why complain about this stuff? Just make better music. And besides, you're past your prime. I know he's 43, which is still insanely young, but take a hiatus, refigure out your sound, refigure out your style, and you can come back hotter than ever. I mean, this is Lil Wayne at the end of the day. I think, though, I'm going to be honest, I think his voice is cooked because of all the smoking. I mean, when you hear him talk in interviews, it sounds horrible. It's like, that's what it sounds like. Like Wayne had that type of voice earlier in his career. Obviously, his whole life he's had that type of voice, but now it's gotten really, really bad to the point where it's like hard to listen to him talk in interviews or to even, make music. So, this approach of complaining isn't going to do anything. But that's just a perfect example of somebody that is a spoiled brat. You got to remember, 50 brought out Lil Wayne for the Final Lap tour. He was getting ready, mic'd up, everything. A security guard brushed by him, barely touching him, and he threw a tantrum and didn't want to come out and perform and left immediately. A security guard barely touched him. It's like somebody walking past you and just like barely touching your shoulder and just swifting it. This is the guy that we're talking about. And I've heard so many stories. When I went to go interview Hot Rod in that studio, the people there said before the Carter 3, Lil Wayne was a lot cooler, humbler. After the Carter 3, he turned into a brat. He was just spoiled. He wanted things his way, and that's it. And it seems like he's been like that since the Carter 3. Probably or earlier than that, because Kid said he's been a spoiled brat his whole life, because Kid was around him when he was 12, 13. But, yeah, man, it's don't complain about this shit, man. Just put your head down and work. And Wayne, you know about work and you know about delivering a lot of music. I just don't think that voice is what's ruined it. And that's what's ruined it for a lot of artists that were popping a long time ago, is their voice has changed drastically, where it no longer sounds good in music. I think Wayne has reached that. I think 50 Cent to a certain extent had that as well. Like that No One Told Us, he sounds good on there, but there's some records where he just sounds bloated, just doesn't sound good. I think Lloyd Banks suffered from that a little bit too, but him not smoking has helped his voice a lot. I think Eminem has suffered from a lot of artists, man. It's not just, exclusive to Lil Wayne. A lot of artists that were popping a long time ago, their voices changed drastically, and they don't sound like their prime versions of themselves. That's why I give a lot of props to Young Buck, because he still sounds like his earlier version. But that's my take on it. I think he is, there's no reason to be complaining about this stuff. Get to work, Wayne. All right, let's talk about this guy. And I haven't talked about this case or this conspiracy or whatever the case may be. This person has just been arrested, though, and he's getting charged with murder of a minor. And who I'm talking about is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this guy's name right. David, I think, D4vd is how he has his name spelled. He is officially arrested for murder. And he has pleaded not guilty to the murder of 14-year-old, yes, you're hearing this right, 14-year-old Celeste Rivas. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing her last name right. And other charges related to his recent arrest in a courtroom. His legal team also requested a preliminary hearing within the next 10 days, according to TMZ. Police arrested David last Thursday, over 7 months after discovering Rivas' remains in the trunk of his Tesla. Prosecutors announced the charges against him on Monday. He's accused of first-degree murder, continuous sexual abuse of a child under the age of 14, and unlawful mutilation of human remains. Yes, you heard that right. Celeste was just a child under 14 years old. So she was 13 at the time of her murder, when David Burke allegedly engaged in repeated lewd and lascivious sexual relations with her. But Burke's actions did not allegedly stop there. When she threatened to expose his criminal conduct and devastate his music career, Burke allegedly murdered her, cut up her body, and stuffed her body in 2 bags that were placed in the trunk of his car. The dismembered body sat for over 4 months decomposing until it was found at a tow yard on September 8th, 2025. This horrific and gruesome murder committed by the charged sexual predator is shocking and appalling to Celeste's loved ones. We will get the justice you seek and deserve. Now, he faces the death penalty as well. And I'm going to talk about why I don't think he should get the death penalty. Because I've kind of, as the years have gone on, I've changed my stance on people getting the death penalty. And I'll talk about why a little bit later. But prosecutors reveal exactly how David allegedly killed Celeste. Due to special circumstances surrounding the case, David will be eligible for either the death penalty or a life sentence without parole. Those circumstances include the lying in wait nature of his alleged killing, that the killing was for financial gain, and that Rivas is considered a witness to a lewd acts charge. He ended up killing her basically because she was threatening to expose him as a predator, as a pedophile. Because let me see what this guy's age is, because I don't even know how old this motherfucker is. He is 21 years old. I think at the time of her murder, he was 20, maybe 19. So 19 dating a 14-year-old, or a 20-year-old dating a or actually she was a 13-year-old. So 13-year-old dating a 19-year-old. You guys know how I feel about child predators and stuff. You guys know I've tweeted about this. I've talked about this. I support child predator groups that catch child predators. I watch True Blue, which is Chris Hansen's streaming network where he catches child predators. What else can I say? I hate these people. Like, these are individuals that don't deserve any type of sympathy at all. At all. There's no sympathy for these people. Because from what I know, from what I've seen, 98, 99, I'm pretty sure 100% commit the same thing once they get released. They do the exact same thing. Whether it's a day later, whether it's a week later, whether it's a month later, whether it's months later, whether it's years later, they end up trying to get with a minor again. Now, Let's talk about what they found with David. They found he had child pornography on his phone. Let's go over this. So today, David appeared in court for a status hearing. At one point in the hearing, prosecutors alleged that they went through his phone and discovered a significant amount of child sexual abuse material, also known as child porn. For now, it's unclear whether or not any of it featured Rivas. That wasn't all that prosecutors revealed during the hearing, however. They confirmed that a wiretap was part of investigation. Further details of that were not public. They found literal terabytes of child porn in this guy's computer and phone. Terabytes. You know, there's megabytes, there's gigabytes, and then there's fucking terabytes. Let me see what the amount was, man. 40 terabytes. 40 terabytes. Right now, with everything that I got, I don't think I could fill up 40 terabytes right now. With all my documentaries I've made, basically every file I've saved on my desktop and my laptop and my phone, I couldn't fit 40 terabytes. Yet this guy had 40 terabytes of just child sexual related stuff. 40 fucking terabytes. What is with these sickos and just having an insane amount of fucking files of this stuff? This guy, here's the thing. This is why I don't support the death penalty. One, I watched a lot of death penalty documentaries, and someone has to kill that person. Another human being has to play some type of role in killing that person. And unfortunately, you know, like let's just say Celeste's father wanted to kill David, right? And let's just say David got sentenced with death penalty, and her father wanted to pull the trigger or inject him with poison to kill him. You know, like whatever death, because they do death sentences, and then they either kill you with like injecting you with some type of poison that, you know, kills you, or other methods. They don't do the shooting method anymore. They don't do the electric chair. So it's mainly the poisoning. They inject the person in like 3 stages. The first one is like putting the person's like body to sleep. There's another one, and then there's another one where like the heart just completely stops. Now, the problem with that is there's a human being that has to go there and inject that person with the poison. And psychologically, that fucks with that human being. Because a lot of people that had to do that as a job, they quit. Because psychologically, they know like, hey, I'm the one that actually killed this person. Granted, you know, legally it was the right thing, you know, that they did. But then sometimes even those people that get the death penalty, years later it comes out that they were innocent actually. So there's a lot of problems with the death penalty, right? There's a lot of issues with it. So that issue of like the person having to kill the actual person that's guilty, it can fuck with them psychologically. But they, you know, if they allowed maybe the father or the parent or whoever of the victim to kill that person, maybe it's a little bit more justified. Maybe you can get kind of bypass that, but they haven't allowed that in a long time. So that's the first issue with the death penalty. The second issue is it's a coward's way out for the person. Because they did a study of like psychologically, it actually came out recently. I just forget what the results were. Psychologically, having a human in a box for the rest of his life is way more tormenting than killing them off. And yeah, it might cost more money, tax dollars wise. But to have them locked in a box suffering every single day, especially a child predator where he's probably going to get beat up every 10 seconds, is way better. Like, he should suffer for the rest of his life. He shouldn't have an easy way out of a death penalty. So that's the other thing. Another thing is, I think, so you got the person being the victim, blah, 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 the what is it? The torment of actually life in prison. And I was going to say something else, man. It slipped my mind. But regardless, the death penalty, as time has gone on, I've kind of been like, nah, these people deserve the worst of the worst. You know, and that was my other point. I already mentioned it already. Is like, you accidentally can kill the wrong person. You know, that's not actually guilty, and you can't reverse that. So that was my third point. Sorry, I put them into the first one. But yeah, those are the reasons why, like, I've changed my mind from going from being for the death penalty to allowing people to rot in prison. Now, this guy, he deserves to be locked in a literal box. I'm talking the smallest box you can think of, just enough for him to turn around in circles. That's it. And he should be beat to a pulp every single day, tormented, and have him feel every bit of that. And only feed him enough to stay alive so he can keep getting beatings. For the rest of his life, it should be every single day like that. I would love for an AI bot. We can pay an AI bot, try to figure out an AI bot that can beat the living shit out of him every single day. And the AI can detect that, hey, this is a little too far, you might die, so let's back off until he heals a little bit and let's keep beating him. That's what this piece of shit deserves. 40 terabytes of child pornography, murdering a 13-year-old, dismembering her body and putting it in a Tesla trunk. That's sad, man. That's very, very sad. This guy is an evil, evil person. And sadly, there are a lot of people like this walking around. If anything, Chris Hansen with his show has opened my eyes to anybody could be a child predator. It can be a big businessman. It could be the bum of the bums. It can be a regular Joe Schmo. Anybody. From a teacher to a humanitarian to a guy who works at McDonald's to fucking Fortune 500 CEO. Anybody could be a child predator. And I know that's like, oh, obviously it's not shock and Quake. We're human beings, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter what we do. But you would think somebody of a higher status, higher position in life wouldn't do that. But nope. It's a disease. The only way you can get rid of this is by castrating every single one. How else would you stop child predators? Because I still have yet to see one that hasn't repeat offended. They do it. They get a measly sentence. Maybe 3 months, maybe a year in prison. They get out. And within a matter of time, like clockwork, they do it again. If I was really, really getting mad, like I'm furious. But if I would take this guy and, my God, I would just torment him so badly. It would be the most pleasurable thing ever. Like, these people are disgusting. These people have a sickness in their brain, and they are worse than actual murderers. And I've always said this because a child predator spreads the disease, because a lot of child predators were molested themselves as kids. Now, you're probably going to think, oh, well, that's sad. That's why they're doing it. It's sad. They thought it was okay. No, because there are some child predators that did, not child predators, but there's some people that got molested as kids and never did it to other people because they know how bad it felt. But unfortunately, more of the percentage do it to others. So it's the disease that spreads versus like murdering somebody. It's done. The murder is there. It's finished. It stops at that moment, which is still sad and fucked up. I'm not like defending murdering somebody, but child predators spread because they do it to one person. That person gets tormented. That person has to live with that for the rest of their life. And then some of them end up doing it to somebody else. And sadly, in the land of America, and I think across the world, we don't treat child predators as bad as we should. So fuck this guy wholeheartedly. I hope every single night he gets raped by prisoners. He gets beaten. I hope he has nightmares every single second. And he never finds peace ever in his life. Because this person is disgusting. I can't even say human being. Because he's not human. This is not human. This is a fucking demon, a devil. And who's that fucking guy? Russell Brand, too. He like openly admitted at 30 years old he slept with a 16-year-old. Like, fuck that guy, too. Fuck any of these people who make this seem like normal. Anyways, that's kind of my spiel on this. I will keep you guys updated. I hope he doesn't get the death penalty. I hope he gets life in prison without parole. And I hope he gets tormented every second of his living life that he has. If it was up to me, I would literally just find creative ways to torture this guy every single day. I would literally take a pay. I would stop doing this as a job just to go and torment that guy every day. And every child predator. Like, I would love to do that as a job. If I got paid, I don't even give a fuck, the most minimum wage ever, I would do that as a job. I would go and torment these child predators in prison. Like, that's, I've actually, you know what? I think this was years ago, I thought of doing child predator catching videos. Because I was like, I remember seeing CC Unit and all these other platforms that were catching predators before it became like a YouTube content thing. Like, people were doing it because they genuinely wanted to catch these guys. Now I feel like some of this stuff is like doing it for entertainment because you want to beat them up, which I'm all for. I have no issue with. But it seems like it's more of a show versus like actually catching these guys to me. But who am I to say? I'm glad it's just happening. Regardless of them getting caught and stuff, I'm happy. Regardless if you're just doing it for views, fuck it. Get your views, man. Because you're catching these people and exposing them and getting them off the streets for the most part. So I was actually thinking of doing that type of content, like getting out of, because I don't know, I felt like with the content that I'm doing, I wasn't really impacting the world the way I wanted to. And with catching child predators, you impact in a great way. You know, you're getting people off the street that are harming children. But yeah, man, I wish we lived in a world where these people got the most harshest punishment ever. These guys should get the worst punishment ever known to man. Whatever you can think of, the most horrible things should happen to these people. And they should get punished every single day. Not killed, because that's the coward's way out, but punished every single day. Anyways, that's my take. I'll keep you guys updated on this case and what happens, but fuck this guy. Rest in peace to Celeste. Let's talk about Drake. He has officially announced the Iceman album. It is coming out on May 15th, which is roughly a month, well, basically 3 weeks from now. First, let's talk about the records he's breaking still. And then I want to talk about the Iceman album and what I expect from the album. So one thing is, Nothing Was the Same is breaking records, which is my favorite Drake album. And this is what's happened. Drake has no shortage of impressive feats to brag about. And recently, he added one more to the list. According to Hip Hop All Day, his 2013 album, Nothing Was the Same, has now spent a decade charting on the Billboard 200. He managed this with Take Care and Views too, making him the only rapper in history to have more than one album reach this milestone. This isn't the only accomplishment Drake has to celebrate these days either. Earlier this month, he also broke his own personal streaming record on Spotify. He reached a whopping 88.74 million monthly listeners on the platform. This is more monthly listeners than any other rapper has had in the past. His previous record was 88.71 million monthly listeners. Before that, it was reported that Drake is on track to have the biggest streaming year for a rapper ever. He's already surpassed 5 billion streams on Spotify so far this year. Okay, that's all cool, but I'm glad that Nothing Was the Same gets the same praise as, I guess, his critically acclaimed Take Care album and even Views. Views just had a lot of major hits for him with like One Dance, Hotline Bling. I think those were the two major. One Dance is his biggest song in his career in terms of streaming and just where it placed first #1 record ever for him on the Hot 100, so on and so forth. So that's why Views is up there, but Take Care and Nothing Was the Same, I feel like those are good debates for Drake's best albums to me. But yeah, shout out to Drake for that. Let's talk about Iceman and what to expect with Iceman, what I expect. May 15th is the release date. He's released some interesting, like when the guy found the release date, whatever, from the, first off, the promo for this album is very good. Dropping random ice block that's huge. It's not one ice block, but a bunch of ice blocks stacked up and telling people that, hey, when the ice melts is when the release date is. Genius marketing, because other companies are, trolling and having their fun with that and doing their own kind of promo relating to that. Then you got a bunch of streamers going there trying to break the ice, fans and all that stuff. So great promo, probably just it's a genius idea overall. Like, it's a fun idea, something different, right? So that's cool. Then we get the release date. The streamer, whatever, finds it, which I think it was all planned and set up. Then goes to Drake's house, goes through the booklet. And there's a lot of like little clues, right? And the clues that are there, there's like a crosshair pointing at a Pinocchio, which some people assume is about Kendrick Lamar. There's a few hints here and there. What's the dirt is claiming that it's going to be a double album due to the contrast in colors. Like he'll use red and blue on some stuff. And, maybe the blue album is more calm, chill Drake, and maybe the red album is the fire album. I don't know. Who knows? I'm just throwing shit out there. But regardless, I want this album to be not a double disc. That's the first thing. I want it to be like Nothing Was the Same. I want it to be compact, 13 to 16 tracks. No crazy new artist features. I don't want to fucking hear from Yeet or whatever that girl was that he put on that record. Like, I want none of those preview records that came out, none of those singles that came out. The one with Central C flopped like a motherfucker. The next one flopped. What did I miss? I like the first half, but that's about it. So none of those tracks I want on the album. New material. And really, I just want Drake popping his shit, man. I think people have missed his music. The last time he dropped an album was in late 2023. So it's been 3 years. And it's showing that people miss his music. I mean, his streaming numbers are going up and up and up because people are just wanting more and more of Drake. Now, what do we consider, like when this album drops, what is considered a hit and what is considered a flop? Because people are going to be like, if they don't like the album, they're going to be like, oh, he flopped. Kendrick Lamar destroyed him. If they do like the album and it doesn't sell well or whatever, there's basically what I'm saying is there's no way for Drake to win in this situation. So many people dislike him for his massive success that even if this album is a good album, people will find a way to nitpick it and still hate on him. For me, what I find to be a success for this album, sales-wise, is to surpass For All the Dogs, which was his lowest selling solo album. I'm not talking about the collab albums. I'm not talking about the mixtapes or whatever, or those little compilations that he dropped. Solo Drake album. It was the lowest selling. It sold like 403,000 or some shit first week, which is insane numbers. Anybody selling that amount is great. But for Drake, it was the lowest selling album. So I would like Iceman to do 500, 600,000. I think that would be a success, sales-wise, commercial-wise. Maybe have a number one hit. That would be a good success. Overall, though, I just want the album to sound really good. I don't want that new generation sound. I don't want, just be Drake. Give us that Take Care. Nothing Was the Same. Give us stuff like that. Features, please no Sexy Red. Please no Yeet. Please no, I don't fucking know, man. Just whoever he features that is like garbage, which Sexy Red and Yeet, I'm not a fan of at all. Just make it more of a mature album. Do I want him dissing people? Yeah, I would love an aggressive album dissing people. But if he doesn't, I'm not upset about that either. I think he is going to subliminally diss some people. That's just, for all this time, it makes sense. But there is a lot of massive pressure on him, man. Just massive pressure. And I think no matter what this album is, people are going to complain regardless. He's just at that stage in his career where a lot of people don't want to see him succeed. So no matter what he does, people are still going to find a way to complain about the album. Regardless, I'm excited. May 15th. I would stream, but it's late at night, so I'm probably not going to stream. Maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. But regardless, man, shout out to Drake, all his accomplishments. And speaking of accomplishments, Spotify released their list of the most streamed artists. And this is the official list from Spotify. And you got Taylor Swift at number 1, no shock. 2 Bad Bunny, 3 Drake. So Drake is officially the most streamed rapper, no surprise there. But in terms of rappers, this is what's interesting. Eminem is at number 9. So Eminem is right behind Drake. If you go like only rappers only, it goes Drake, Eminem, Kanye, Travis Scott, Kendrick Lamar, Future, Juice WRLD. So first off, Juice WRLD is a huge impressive because he died and barely had music out at the time. And Eminem is impressive. Eminem literally came out in 1999. So he's the only one in older generations that's actually keeping up. Obviously, Kanye is too, but Eminem came out earlier before Kanye. So Eminem's a lot older. By at least 5 years, he was in the industry making music before Kanye dropped his album. Yeah, because Kanye dropped in 2004, Eminem in 1999. So, yeah, it's crazy, man. I just wanted to go over that because the accomplishment of Eminem being ahead of everybody besides Drake is, in terms of rappers, is astonishing. It's a huge round of applause. This guy, fans still bump this guy, and Love his music, man. Let's get into new music. Kalani dropped the Kalani self-titled album. Lotto and Glorilla dropped GOMF. The Kid Leroy dropped Before I Forget Deluxe. Akon dropped Beautiful Day, the album. Akon dropped an album. I did not know that. Damn, that's bad promo for it. I got to check that out. French Montana, Max B, and Chase Belly dropped Bet It All. Action Bronson dropped Triacetrops Tops, featuring Paul Wall and Lil Yachty. Fredo Bang dropped Say Please, featuring BX The Plug. So check out that. Album sales, Ella Langley Dandelion debuted at number 1 with 168,000 sold. Number 2, Morgan Wallen, I'm the Problem. Number 3, BTS Erang. Number 2, Morgan Wallen, I'm the Problem with 82,000. Sorry. Number 3, BTS Erang with 78,000. Number 4, Don Toliver Octane with 48,000. A lot of people are saying this album's great. I got to check it out. Number 5, Olivia Dean, The Art of Lovin', 47,000. Number 6, Bad Bunny, 43,000. Number 7, Luke Combs, The Way I Am, 41,000. Number 8, debut, Justin Bieber Swag with 40,000. Number 9, Morgan Wallen, One Thing at a Time, 40,000. Number 10, Sabrina Carpenter, Man's Best Friend at 39,000. Yay Bully is at number 12 with 34,000. SZA SOS number 13 with 34,000. Going down the list, Michael Jackson number 1 is at number 23 with 26,000. Drake Take Care number 29 with 24,000. Kanye West Graduation number 34 with 20,000. That's still insane to see. A bunch of these Justin Bieber albums are making their runs because of the Coachella thing. Number 42, Cardi B, Am I the Drama, 19,000. Number 44, Drake Views, 18,000. And that is it for album sales. Billboard Hot 100, Ella Langley is still at number 1, choosing Texas. Crazy. Olivia Dean, Man I Need, number 2. I Just Might, Bruno Mars, number 3. Be Her, Ella Langley, number 4. Ordinary, Alex Warren, number 5. So Easy, Olivia Dean, number 6. Hunter, Golden, number 7. Stateside, Pink Panthers, number 8. Folded, Kalani, number 9. And BTS Swim, number 10. Crazy, crazy list, man. A bunch of Justin Bieber records are coming back on the charts because of that Coachella thing. Going down the list, Pop That Thing, The Baby, number 32. So it went down a little bit because of the Justin Bieber stuff. T.I. Let 'Em Know, number 37. Let's see. Boss Man D-Lo, Motion Party, number 43. Lil Uzi Vert, What You Saying, number 48. Obvious, Chris Brown, debuted at number 57. Damn, that's a pretty good debut. FDO, Pooh Shiesty, number 59. Father, Ye, Kanye West, and Travis Scott, number 64. One of them, DJ Khaled, featuring Lil Baby, number 70, debut. Going down, Miss Trendsetter, Lil Baby, number 81. All the Love, Kanye and Andre, number 86. Andre Troutman, by the way. And I think, yeah, that's it for artists, hip-hop artists, at least on the Billboard Hot 100. And that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. As always, appreciate you guys. Spotify, Deezer, Podcast, YouTube, all that. I'm going to try to rank. I might actually rank Michael Jackson's albums, man. I'm going to wait on the Kanye West one. I'm going to rank Michael Jackson's albums by the time the next episode comes, and I will review Michael Jackson's Michael movie. I'll just give my thoughts. I'm going to see it this weekend, so can't wait for that. So, yeah, stay tuned. Next episode is going to be mainly Michael Jackson themed in terms of reviews and stuff like that. But as always, appreciate you guys. Spotify, Deezer, Podcast, YouTube, all that. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to this, and peace.